Welcome to the Single Dads Network. This is Single Dads Unplugged, and this is season 6. And then we are shooting at a time where we've been talking a lot about single fathers and also about fatherhood parenting, because June is also the Men's Mental Awareness Month. And then we're coming to you from Midrand. This is our base station now. Those that have followed us before may have seen that we've used different places. But now I'm talking to a gentleman that has been raising young people. He has been in the industry as well. He has been following our network close to the conversations that we are having. Baba Mthabela, welcome, Bafo.
Mr. Parat.
Welcome to the Single
Thank
Dads
you so much,
Network.
Dad. Thank you.
Thank you, Chibi. This conversation has been a long time coming. Ngiyakhumbula mengikhuluma nawe last time we were saying, really, how do we motivate dads to be present and to engage with the young people? I want to know for you, what does presence mean? And everyone is talking about presence and not being absent. For fathers, what does that mean for you?
It means getting something that some of us didn't get from fathers. And I'm not just speaking about myself.
Sure.
I'm lucky that I know my father. He was there. He was present. But my first father was my grandfather, my maternal grandfather.
Grandfather, okay.
Yeah. So I know what it's like to have a present father through my grandfather.
Okay.
My grandfather, I see that as a young person that I saw how much he loved my grandmother, how much he was there for his kids,
Yes.
how much he was present, not just physically,
Yeah.
but present for their mental needs, for their physiological needs, for their
Yes.
psychological needs,
Okay.
for all their needs. Spiritual needs, raising them to be spiritual people. My grandfather was that kind of a man who loved my grandmother. He loved his kids. He loved us as his grandkids.
Yeah.
He went above and beyond to show us love.
Eish.
A present father is the one who supplies all the needs of his child or the children around him
Yeah.
holistically.
Holistically.
You take care of their psychological needs. You
Yeah.
tell them, you're doing good.
Yeah.
I don't like what you did there. Every now and then, punish them if they have to. My grandfather used to punish us. He used to give us a hiding.
Eish. Yeah.
But also he used to show us love.
Yes.
He wasn't just that hand that was beating us up. But a present father is someone who sees the development of his child and also foresees where he would like the child to go. And
yes.
also helps them direct the child in that direction of who they ought to be. Because as a present father, you are an architect of the next generation.
I like that, Bafo, ngoba you mentioned the early stages of development of a child. And then someone was saying to me, those early stages are critical for the father to be present. And for you, what was the defining moment when you realized within your own family that my presence and my emotional participation or connection with my kids is vital?
So I used to drink a lot as a young person.
Okay.
And I got married. But when I got married, I realized that my decisions now no longer affect just me. If I cause an accident and I die now in a drunken stupor, it means now my wife is going to be umfelokazi.
Ish, yeah.
It means now that my kids are going to be orphans or they're going to be fatherless. It means now there's a certain level of a lifestyle that they need to live that they're not going to live because I decided
And
to
you're
be
no longer
selfish.
Ish, yeah.
So for me, I realized that fatherhood means selflessness, selfless service. I need to sacrifice my own desires, my own needs, my own comforts, and just make sure that I give my kids what they need. It just made me realize that I'm the one who needs to teach my kids spirituality. Therefore, I need to grow spiritually. It meant that I need to be the one who teaches my kids life's principles. It meant that I needed to read more books. At the time, there were no podcasts like we see now.
Yeah.
But there were documentaries, there were books.
Oh, you
I used
pick
to
up
love.
a book, yeah.
Pick up a book,
Yeah.
read something. I used to make sure that at the end of the month, I went to these bookshops to buy
Yeah.
books, a collection of books,
Yeah.
particularly dealing with the power of the mind.
Eish, yeah.
so-
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that story. I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, especially John Kehoe. Yeah. The power
Yes,
of
yes,
the mind,
yes. The mind power.
The mind power.
Yeah. So I needed to be the kind of a man that I needed to model a fatherhood for my kids. I needed to be the kind of a man that would model what a
Yeah.
good man is for
Yes.
my kids.
You mentioned that role modeling. We were talking about that at the SABC last night. The role modeling. Why is it critical for kids to have that role model, especially in the father figure? What values have you already instilled in your own kids that you see now they spring up and then they come out as different human beings because of your role modeling?
Humans are intrinsically flawed.
Okay.
If you say to me, I must do what makes me happy, I'll probably do the wrong thing.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
If you say to me, Muzi, do what makes you happy,
Yeah.
I'll probably go straight to my DMs
Yeah.
and start responding to those highs,
Start using-
hays,
yeah.
because the nature of man is carnal.
Eish.
So kids, naturally, they are not nice people. That's why if you buy them a toy, they say, no, it's mine.
Yeah.
They don't want to share it.
They don't want to share it.
Yeah, we are selfish.
Yeah.
We have all these negative and bad traits as people.
Eish. Yeah.
So if, for example, you look at a child as a garden, if you let the garden run amok,
Yeah.
there's going to be good fruits, there's going to be good seeds,
Yes.
but there's also going to be ukadolo, there's going to be
Yeah.
bad seeds as
Isn't
well.
it better? Yeah.
So as a father, you need to learn that if your child is a garden, you need to remove the weeds so that the good seeds may grow well.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I started teaching my kids was spirituality, their spiritual aspect, that you are a spiritual being.
Yeah.
Learn to love other people.
Yeah.
Learn to be kind. Learn to be giving. What we do as well with my kids, we read the book of Proverbs every day. The book of Proverbs has 31 chapters. So we read a chapter a day.
Okay.
So now my kids know the book of Proverbs more than I do.
Wow.
And sometimes when I do the wrong thing, I for example, we were watching this movie, my wife and I.
Yeah.
So our kids, because they love the internet and
Sure.
social media, they were in their rooms.
Yes.
So we were in the lounge watching this movie, but
Yeah.
there was some swearing going on.
Okay. Or on the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she goes to the kitchen to make something, and then as the movie's going on, she comes, she looks at us, she says, "Guys, don't you think you should switch it off?" We're like, why, baby?
Why?
She says, because of the language.
Okay.
And the movie's nice, eh?
Yeah.
So now we have to look for the remote and change the channel
To
because
change, yeah.
we told them not to watch movies
be
where there's a lot
exposed.
of cussing
okay.
and bad principles that are being taught in the movie.
I
So
like that. I like that.
we created a monster in a sense that now this child that we taught our principles is reflecting them back to us to say, guys, you said we mustn't watch movies with cussing.
Yes.
I think you should switch off your movie.
Yeah.
And she waited
She waited. Wow.
for us to change the channel.
Ah, yeah.
So for me, that says even when we are away,
Yes.
abantwana, they will take care of themselves, as the Bible
Because
says.
you've given those teachings already and they are entrenched.
They are entrenched.
Yeah.
Remember what the Bible says.
Yeah.
Teach the child the way he should grow, and when he's old, he will remember it all his days.
Exactly.
So I think it was important for us to learn what we needed to teach,
Yeah.
because you can't just teach your kids something that you don't know,
Yeah.
because they will catch you out and say, but you are being a hypocrite.
Yes, yes, because I like that, because you're talking about the rituals, the traditions that are simple in your family life, but
Yeah.
but how do they improve the connection, the bonding? Because I always say sometimes, to other dads, just do what works for you. But for you, how do those rituals, traditions, habits actually create the connection and the bonding with the kids?
We spend a lot of time together. Just yesterday, if not the day before,
Yeah.
my last born was asking, guys, when are we doing a family game night?
Oh, okay.
So I'm asking, do we have snakes and ladders? They say, yes. Do we have this and that game? They're like, yes.
My
So I
turn.
said, okay.
Yeah.
So one Sunday afternoon after church, we're going to do the family game night or game day. So I think it is important that we spend time with them, get to understand them. Like you said, that you tell fathers that raise your kids, find a way, find a rhythm that works for you.
That works for you.
But as much as you need to find a rhythm that works for you, find a rhythm that also is in rhythm with the rhythm of God or with the word of God or the principles of God. Because like I said, human is intrinsically flawed. If you do things your own way, maybe, I don't know if I'm pointing fingers, but look at Will Smith and his family. How he said, no, we let our children choose, we let our kids
them be.
do as they please.
Yeah.
But then if you look at his son, Jaden, I was watching a clip of Jet Li answering a question, Betty, why did you cut off Mfanaga Will Smith from doing the other seasons of that movie they was doing?
Movie, yes.
Yeah. So
They
he
removed
says, he says, I don't have a problem with Will Smith. I don't have a problem with Mvana. The problem I had was the disrespect that he showed, the arrogance he showed. It was becoming impossible to work with him. And he said, and Jet Li, not Jet Li, what's his name?
A producer.
Yeah. Not Jet Li, the other Lee. There's too many Lees.
Too many Lee. It's okay.
No, not Bruce Lee. Ching Chang. What's his name?
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
So Jackie Chan says, I saw a clip of him disrespecting people in the train in Japan.
In Japan.
And I didn't want to work with him because he did not apologize. He didn't say he has a problem with him swearing or insulting, which is wrong.
He didn't acknowledge his
But
problem.
kids do wrong all the time.
Of course.
But you have to be taught to do the right thing. But he wasn't, because they always told him at home, no, do you, dude, you know? So you can't be try to be a cool dad with your kids. Of course, be cool. Yeah. I'm cool with my kids, but when I say, hey, they know that
there are rules.
Now we don't cross this line.
Boundaries.
So we have to create boundaries, and our boundaries have to be God-based. Yeah.
There's a question that I had about, yes, boundaries, but also how have you allowed your kids or your children to have access to you in such a way that, especially because you're raising girls, so in such a way that when they come to you, they feel that we can ask dad anything. Where did you start, and how is that unfolding for you?
You know, there's a saying that goes, always err on the side of love.
Okay.
Love will always guide you. Love will always show you what to do. I love my kids, as many other men do. And I show it to them. Because it's one thing, you see, sometimes we think we are teaching our kids, but while we are teaching them, they are teaching us how to be better people.
Yeah.
I saw that with my father. My father was very self-centered when I grew up, when I was a little boy. My father, it was all about him. But when I grew up, I realized how much the man had grown. He was a completely different man.
He was it's an evolution.
He had evolved. He had become a better man. I remember when I came to Johannesburg, my father would call me. He would just want to find out, how are you?
Yeah.
Now he gets angry if I don't call him for the whole week. He's like, do I still have a son or not? What happened to my boy? You know, if I'm driving from KZN to Gauteng and I don't call to say I've arrived, he gets really angry. Why didn't you call? How many times must I tell you guys? You must always call. Yeah, whatever you're doing to me, your kids will do it to you.
Yeah.
And I realized that he is so concerned about us now that he's older, more mature than he was when I was younger.
Much earlier.
You know? Now I see his love because he demonstrates it. So that says to me, demonstrate love to your kids so that they will know that it is easier. My father is accessible. My father listens to us. And these kids are very smart. They know when you're not listening.
They can see your attention.
They know when you're not listening. Yes, baby. Yeah, really. Serious, how was school? And you're busy on your phone. Baba, you're not listening. I'm listening, my baby. No, Baba, you're not listening to me. So these kids are teaching us as much as we are teaching them. The question is, are we teachable? Are we willing to learn from them?
How do you receive it?
How do we receive it? Because our kids are very smart. By God's grace, we are raising...
This generation is different.
We are raising a different generation Tina, we were never able to ask our
Oh,
fathers
no.
why.
No, I couldn't ask him why.
If he says, go and do it garden now, it's
Ah.
like, why? Why, Dad? Like,
Yeah,
why? They need to understand why you say the things that you say.
It's different. What do you say, Baba Mthabela, to the fathers that, a lot of fathers come to our show and say, listen, I'm providing for my kids, they don't lack. What do they need from me? I'm a hardworking dad. I'm out early. I come back late in the evening. I'm tired. I don't have time with them. What do you say to those fathers that believe provision can set up the kids for success without really spending time with them? What do you say to them?
Sometimes we pursue our own goals because they are our own goals.
Okay.
But if our goals involve and include our kids, there are certain adjustments that we need to make, even though those adjustments are going to affect my personal goals. Maybe I want to be an MD at the company and I know that I need to spend more hours at work.
Yeah.
I saw a post on the social platforms that says, in the next 20 years, the only people who will remember that you stayed long hours at work are your kids. Your boss will be gone.
Yeah.
Your German machines will be parked in your garage.
Yeah.
Your bank balance will be heavy.
That's the harsh truth.
And the kids will be married with their partners wherever they are. Maybe let me go back to the example of my own parents. They get so angry. When are we seeing the kids?
Okay.
Their grandchildren.
Their grandkids, of course. Mm-hmm.
When are we seeing the kids? When are you guys visiting us? You guys don't like us. My father, it made me laugh so hard the other day. And whenever my father complains on our social group, we always call each other on the side.
Okay.
Hey, listen to this one. Hey,
Sure.
now that he's old, he's so sensitive, Yeah, you guys don't want us to see the kids. You don't want to bring the kids. It's fine. I'll come myself to Johannesburg to see my kids. Yeah, they are my kids. Make sure that you invest in your kids now what you want to reap from them when you're older.
Later, yeah.
Because you may have all the money in the world, you may have all the success, even the whole world may clap for you. You may get the applause of the world.
Yeah.
But if your kids are not there to applaud you, to celebrate with the world, it's a different story.
I saw something that said...
So maybe to
Yeah.
conclude the
No,
thought.
that's fine, yeah.
Somebody was... it was a funeral of this great guy.
Yes.
And people were saying all these great things. And one of his sons boldly says, we hear you saying all these great things about our father, but we don't know that. You don't want your kids to say that about you. You don't want your kids to say, look at the world celebrating your father. Wow, you guys are so blessed. You must be so blessed to have a father like Muzi Mthabela. And your kids are like,
Yeah.
So whatever you think you may want to withdraw in terms of a relationship and intimacy with your kids, invest it today. Because one day you'll be old and frail.
It's a good investment.
And but all these people that were applauding you, they applaud you, they see you now, they shake your hand,
pass on,
and then they pass on. But
They
your
move
kids,
on.
your kids need to be able to say, hey, Baba, we are going to Europe for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Can we leave the kids with you?
You see now.
You
Because there's that trust.
I was listening to a sermon by David Wilkerson the other day. He says the parents didn't want to bring the grandkids to him all the time. So he decided, him and his wife, that they were going to buy the toys and these bumper things where the kids bump and so they bought all those things and he says, I put the pictures on the family group and the kids were like, we want to go and see granddad.
You see now. You see, talking about how you treat... Let me read you. I shared this on my socials last week.
Yeah.
The way your children treat you when they no longer need you is a reflection of how they felt treated when they did. So in other words, how you treat them now
is an investment.
Is gonna mean it's gonna show when they are older
and
when they have to treat you.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna need them.
Yeah.
This is exactly what you've just said.
And your money is not gonna hug you. Your position is not gonna hug you and say, I love you, Dad. Sometimes sometimes in life, all you need is a human touch.
That's hard, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes in life, all you need is someone who's just going to hug you and say, it's going to be fine.
Because as we grow older, Mthabela, I want to learn to show you.
Yeah.
As we grow older, we become more needy.
Yes.
But the only person that is around to assist you is your kid.
Yeah.
They may be older at that time, but it depends on how you treated them when they were small.
Yes.
It's
You know,
very-
I saw this clip. It's just that I would have honored them if I remembered.
Yes.
I saw this on TikTok, and I even went to the guy's DM and said, wow,
Yes.
I love how you just honored your father. I think it was their father's birthday or something.
Okay.
It's such a pity, man, that I don't remember who
Okay.
it was.
No problem.
It would have been nice to honor them. So how he was greeting, it was I think it was in KZN. How they were talking about their father, you know, laughing and hugging with him while they were doing the speech. You know, the things they were saying about their father, the things they were saying to him, they just said, this man has invested in these kids.
Eish.
And the way they were talking about him, like he's their dude.
Yo.
You know, he's like
There
one
was
of
just
us.
pride.
At the
It
same
was-
time, they know he's our father. They give him that reverential fear to say,
Yes.
Baba. At the same time, they are able to say, Timer. You know,
Leon Nhlonipho, but isekhona.
Ile nhlonipho, but to say he's one of us.
Eish.
Yeah.
Before Sivale, ngifuna ukukhuluma ngale nto legacy. You keep referring to your grandfather.
Yeah.
And what does legacy mean for you? So make sure we switch off Mthabela today as a father. How will you be remembered? And how would you like to be remembered by your kids in terms of your leadership, your counsel, your support, and your guidance? What would that legacy be for you?
The legacy that my grandfather left was a legacy of love. The legacy that my grandmother left was a legacy that says family comes first. I would love to leave a legacy that my father left.
Yeah.
I'd love to leave my father's still alive, that my father is working on.
Sure.
I would love to leave a legacy that my grandfather left of uniting a family. I would love my kids to think one day that man contributed in my life. I want my kids to one day say that man loved us. I want my kids one day to say, I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for my father. I want my kids to say, I'm sacrificing myself for my kids because I saw my father sacrifice himself for us. I would love my kids one day to be left with a legacy of love, to be left with a legacy of knowing God, of having a relationship with God because I loved God and I taught them to love God. And I want them to teach my grandkids to love God like I taught them. So everything that I'm pursuing, I usually say, I'm doing it for my kids. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for my wife. So I want to leave them with a legacy of being whole people, psychologically whole, psychologically, spiritually, emotionally sound adults when they grow up. And I want them to attribute that to say, had it not been for my father and my mother, I would not be the person that I am today.
I like that. I want to turn to our audience that's watching and I ask you this. Hearing his legacy ambition, and I'm asking the fathers that are listening and maybe watching, how would you like to be remembered by your kids? And if something had to happen to you today, what would you leave behind? I like his assertion around love and guidance. And the question is, we as single fathers, husbands, how can we normalize just being present and being there? It's not something that is celebrated sometimes. Mthabela, this has been good.
Ngiyabonga baba.
It's going to come back again. We're going to have greater things to talk about next time.
Thanks, man. Maybe
Sure.
in conclusion, I just want to say thank you for doing this
Thank you.
because it's not just a podcast, it's ministry. You are touching lives that you will never know. You are impacting kids' lives whose fathers are going to be transformed by this platform. So I pray that God may give you more wisdom,
Thank you.
more knowledge, more understanding,
Thank you.
and more courage to keep going, particularly when you have to address very sensitive and tough questions.
issues.
May God bless you, man.
Thanks, my brother. Appreciate it. I liked it.
It's,
We'll see you next time and keep checked in, keep plugged in, and subscribe to our network. This is Single Dads Unplugged. Your host is Muzi Mthabela. Goodbye.